everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Monday to you. If there is such a thing. We're taking a look here at Injected, double checking a few key factors. This is a request from one of my community members here. One of our fan favorites, Hazel. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, let me know. I want to say Hazal sometimes, but I'm sure it's Hazel. Anyways, regardless, clarify if I'm wrong. I want to say thank you for that. Quick little thanks to our community too for some awesome feedback. Near protocol, that was a great trade, 48% in 2 days on a 5x leverage trade. Okay, so good stuff there. Is Injective going to be the next trade that takes off? Well, it's already kind of taken off. So the question is, do we want to get in now or wait for it to pull back if it even does? Generally speaking, we should experience some kind of a pullback here because there is a pretty obvious resistance level, okay? So we just want to be careful FOMOing in at this point, but also recognizing that there's a distinct probability that could get broken too if liquidation events occur, and that's pretty much a commonplace in the industry. So let's take a look at that and work our way down. Quick little thank you too for everyone who was patient recently. My YouTube was hijacked and yeah, I got borrowed for a couple of days, so good job to whomever did that, but kudos to those who stuck around and appreciate your support. That's pretty much the bottom line. A lot of cool people reached out and they were like badgering YouTube to, bring me back. It was just kind of a funny thing in a very endearing way. So thanks for that. And also thanks for always hitting the like button and appreciate you. Okay, so liquidation, let's look at $23 here. We can see 100, 200 million, maybe in the range of 22.60 upwards of 23. Those are recent shorts. And they're kind of spread out all the way up to 26. You see, the higher the liquidation, the lower the leverage. That's really what that boils down to. Or just, stop loss much further away, which is effectively the same thing. So when you see all that and you kind of look at the macro here, we can kind of see on the monthly that there's a pretty solid chunk of liquidation still above, but very little below. It leads me to believe the price is probably going to continue further up. Now, keep in mind, buying the top right now, it does seem like a bad idea just from the outside looking in. Me personally, I don't usually like to do that. However, this coin has a lot of strength. We'll look at some other important factors and recognize too that Bitcoin holding 63,000 like a champ so far is a very good sign. We're going to see how Asia treats the market here later today. Do they get, are they going to dump when the market opens or pump kind of like they did yesterday? It's been some interesting behavior, but simply put, we have a bullish ascending channel here with Bitcoin, and it's a likely breakout scenario. Okay, so let's look at the daily here. Work our way down. In fact, we're just going to go with the weekly since the weekly just closed. And unlike most coins, we're actually over the 20-day SMA. This is awesome. So last week closed below. So far, we're open above. That's a good sign, but just keep in mind, we're not out of the woods completely. That doesn't mean you just go balls to the wall with long positions, but it does imply that it's looking pretty decent as far as a potential breakout. We've also obviously broken this descending channel too, based on the weekly. And then if we look at the macro point of control, let's zoom in a little so we can kind of omit that lower range. We can kind of see here the most amount of volume is right at about $17. And if we zoom in just enough to see ever since we've been, at $18 plus, we see a lot of little areas here of resistance. So you got to recognize too, macro point of control below us, $17, great. That's nice. That's a long ways away though, okay? The key takeaway here is that excluding those outliers from this previous consolidation phase, we can see here that there's a lot of volume above us, which could imply we have a lot of resistance. All right, so again, depending on how you look at it, we have a decent amount of volume below us, but there's also plenty above us. Okay, so I just don't want you to get crazy thinking we're just going to shoot straight up because we break this descending trend. It doesn't always work out that way. Anyways, to summarize the weekly, we're right at 50 on the RSI. We're seeing a MACD convergence. These are a lot of beneficial signs. There's a lot of benefit here. I've seen a few other coins that are exuding similar behaviors too, and that's actually really what we're looking for. Generally speaking, that's what you want in a weekly chart. So the daily chart too tells us we're above all the important moving averages. The 200 is still important, and we're wrong. It's just a ways away. So if you're going to consider securing profits, secure profit just below the 200. Oftentimes the price will reject out at that area, as you can kind of see here. It's pretty consistent for just a natural resistance range. Having said that, daily time frame still not overextended, which is good. We could run a little bit further. We also see money flow index is extremely high, which is good. There's a lot of money flowing into this coin. It's been pretty inconsistent though. There hasn't been really any inconsistencies of the price and the volume. So good news is that hasn't changed. But bad news is it's not more than usual, which is, I wouldn't say bad. It's just I'd like to see more volume to be able to break through this resistance level in order to feel confident with that, right? If we do see the price break out, keep in mind, usually what it does, it will test the upper range. So in other words, we could see this $23 mark hit here soon. And then if it breaks that, 1.272, like the $25 range, would make sense. It's usually a second target. But before any of that happens, likely the price will come back, consolidate at this previous resistance, and go further from there. That's a really common characteristic. We could also be seeing the beginning of a cup and handle pattern. I've drawn a lot of these out today, and while they are not 100% consistent, they do have a tendency of flagging out when they are ready to take off. So in a perfect world, the price pulls back and does one of these. And then when it breaks the upper descending trend line, that's when you consider getting in. Okay, so again, we got a little ways between now and then, but that's a strictly hypothetical scenario, but we're seeing a lot of them kind of play out, for example. There's a lot of flags, a lot of things are kind of looking pretty solid, okay? So again, we played near protocol, very similar scenario there, with some good profit for that. But Injective is looking overall pretty decent. What else is up with a 4-hour time frame? Well, let's take a look. We are rejecting out at 70 here on the RSI. All the more reason why we probably will see a bit of a pullback. We're rejecting, of course, at their local resistance too, because based on the daily candlestick closure, 2240 is that resistance. So it would make a lot of sense for the price to pull back. If it shoots up any further right now, it's just an extra sweep of this liquidation, and it should pull back. I don't see Injective running just yet. I think it needs to prime the pump, so to speak. A lot of times that's why flags occur before a cup and handle, because the price retests the previous resistance, gets rejected initially, has to build a volume support and continue from there. We haven't seen that yet. We're still in the early stages. MACD is losing momentum, still looking okay. Trend strength is nice. I mean, these are mostly bullish signs, folks. I'm not by any stretch saying you should short this coin. I'm just saying taking long right now seems less sensible, at least me personally being a patient trader. Again, I miss out on a tremendous amount of opportunities, and you need to recognize that you'll never catch them all either. But I'd much rather wait or miss a good opportunity than to take a bad one, right? I don't know, it just depends on where you're at there. Either way, Ichimoku Cloud is confirming that you should potentially leave your long position open for another few hours. If the price doesn't break out soon, then it's probably more likely to retest this local high, which is this guy right here. So you can kind of see somewhat of a line there. While it's not definitive, you can see multiple attempts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts to break it, and then there's only been one retest. So it's more likely for the price to come down and bounce off that area. If it closes below that, that's an invalidation. We may see the bull flag continue lower. Either way, they're mostly bullish signs here, so do not extract from this analysis that you should short this coin. I just think you should wait to take a long. You'll hear me say that a lot though. Okay, I'm probably a broken record there. And once more, that's just me personally being a little bit more safe and conservative and more risk averse rather, okay? So anyways, hopefully that makes sense. Thanks again for the request, Hazel. Again, correct me if I'm wrong on the name there, and I appreciate y'all very much for just being awesome parts of my life. Feel free to reference our exchanges down below. We're partnered with BTCC and BitUnix, phenomenal exchanges. They're good for no KYC or VPN required. Those who live in the US, Canada, a lot of my viewers are located there. Either way, hope you all have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll post our playout chart in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here shortly. Thanks again. See you soon.